Today's story is one of unexpected twists, redemption, and a powerful lesson about love and the value of true character over appearances. This is the story of a millionaire who thought he was just having some fun, making a bet, but what he ended up finding was something far deeper than he ever imagined. It's a tale that shows how life has a way of humbling us and teaching us that the real treasure lies beyond the surface. Meet Alex, a young, handsome, and incredibly wealthy man. At just 30 years old, Alex had it all: luxury cars, a sprawling mansion, and enough money to indulge in anything he desired. With his charm and his fortune, he had no trouble attracting beautiful women. Alex's life was one of excess and excitement, and he enjoyed the attention and admiration that came with his wealth. But he wasn't looking for love. Instead, he had grown used to shallow relationships and fleeting romances. To Alex, beauty was all that mattered. He was, as some would say, a playboy, a man who valued looks over substance and who didn't think too deeply about the people he surrounded himself with. One evening, while out with his friends at an upscale party, Alex made a bet. In their circle, making outrageous bets and daring each other was just part of the fun. But this time, his friends challenged him to something different. They bet that he couldn't woo and marry someone who didn't fit the image he was so obsessed with, specifically an overweight woman. His friends, amused by the challenge, laughed at the thought, and Alex, always one to take on a dare, accepted without hesitation. He thought it would be easy, a game, something he could get through quickly and then move on. Grace was unlike anyone Alex had ever pursued. She was kind-hearted, intelligent, and full of life. But she didn't fit the mold of the women he usually went for. Grace was overweight, and she didn't fit the model image that Alex had always been drawn to. Yet, there was something about her that intrigued him. She was warm and genuine, with a magnetic smile and a contagious laugh. She didn't have the glamour or glitz of his usual dates, but she had a spirit that was hard to ignore. And so, Alex decided to go through with the bet. He would get close to Grace, win her heart, and marry her, just to prove to his friends that he could. As Alex began to spend time with Grace, he noticed things about her that he hadn't expected. She was compassionate and funny, with a heart of gold. She volunteered at a local shelter, dedicated herself to helping others, and had a passion for making the world a better place. Her optimism and kindness made her stand out, and Alex found himself genuinely enjoying her company. Grace wasn't interested in his money or his status. She valued him for who he was, or at least who he pretended to be. And slowly, without realizing it, Alex found himself drawn to her in a way he hadn't planned. At first, he kept reminding himself that this was just a game, a way to win the bet. But as days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, his feelings for Grace grew. She was nothing like the women he was used to, and in her presence, he felt a kind of happiness he had never experienced before. She challenged him to think deeper, to care about things beyond appearances and material wealth. For the first time in his life, Alex felt like he could be his true self, not the image he had built for others. Grace brought out a side of him that he hadn't known existed. Eventually, Alex proposed to Grace. She, who had come to love him deeply, accepted, believing that she had found a partner who valued her for who she was. The wedding was beautiful, filled with friends, family, and an undeniable sense of joy. But even as he stood at the altar, looking into Grace's eyes, Alex felt a pang of guilt. He knew the truth about why he had started this journey, and he couldn't shake the feeling that he was deceiving the one person who had shown him unconditional love. But he pushed the guilt aside, telling himself that he had truly fallen for her, and that was all that mattered now. They settled into married life, and as the days passed, Alex felt more and more torn. Grace was an amazing wife, supportive, loving, and always there for him. She made him feel understood in a way no one else ever had. But the weight of the secret he carried began to gnaw at him. He had married her for a bet, and even though he had grown to love her, he couldn't escape the shame of how it had all begun. One evening, as they sat together after dinner, Alex couldn't keep it in any longer. He took a deep breath and confessed everything to Grace. He told her about the bet, about how he had initially pursued her as part of a game, and how his intentions had been shallow and selfish. He told her how he had changed, how he had come to love her genuinely, and how she had transformed his life. But despite his apologies and his heartfelt admission, the damage was done. Grace was heartbroken. The man she had trusted, the man she had loved with all her heart, had seen her as nothing more than a challenge, a way to prove something to his friends. Grace was devastated. She felt betrayed, humiliated, and deeply hurt. She had believed in Alex, believed that he saw her for who she truly was, but now she realized that his initial motives had been anything but sincere. She needed time to process everything, to come to terms with the truth. She took some space, spending time away from Alex to gather her thoughts. During this time, Alex realized just how much he had taken her for granted and how deeply he regretted his actions. Determined to win back her trust, Alex embarked on a journey of redemption. He cut ties with the toxic friends who had encouraged the bet, wanting to rid his life of anything that had contributed to his past mistakes. He volunteered at the same shelter Grace had been passionate about, hoping to understand her values better and to become the man she deserved. He spent months proving, through actions rather than words, that he had changed. After some time, Grace agreed to meet with him. She saw the genuine remorse in his eyes, the way he had transformed, and she could tell that he was no longer the shallow man he once was. She decided to give him another chance, not because she had forgotten what he had done, but because she saw that he was committed to becoming a better person. She believed that people could change, and she hoped that their love, though bruised, could be rebuilt. With a second chance, Alex and Grace began to rebuild their relationship. It wasn't easy, and there were moments of doubt, but over time, they grew closer, bound by a deeper understanding and a shared commitment to honesty. Alex learned that love isn't about appearances or superficial qualities. It's about respect, honesty, and valuing a person's true worth. He became a better husband, more attentive and supportive. And Grace saw the man he had become rather than the man he had been. In the end, Alex learned a valuable lesson. Love is not a game, and people are not challenges to be conquered. He came to understand that the true measure of a person lies not in their appearance, but in their heart and character. And as for Grace, she taught him that forgiveness is a gift, one that must be earned and valued. Their story, once built on a cruel bet, became one of redemption, growth, and a love that was ultimately stronger than the mistakes of the past. Thank you for watching, and if this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that remind us of the power of love, forgiveness, and the resilience of the human heart. Until next time, take care, and remember that true love sees beyond appearances. It looks straight into the soul.